welcome back. We are now talking about part 2 to the self-trust video. It's very important to trust yourself first before trusting anybody else. It's low-key impossible to trust anybody else. No, that's high-key. It's high-key impossible to trust anybody else if you don't trust yourself first. That was the first part. This is part 2, and we are talking about how to build self-trust after betrayal, whether it's you betraying yourself or someone else betrays you. And I just want to kind of like just jump into it, okay? Because betrayal, it has a way of doing more than breaking your heart, right? It has a way of breaking your relationship with yourself. Because yes, it hurts when someone lies to you or cheats on you. It hurts when someone manipulates or abandons and or disappoints you. But often the deepest pain that we feel is not just what they did. The deepest pain is what happens inside of you after that happens. Not just what they did, but what happens inside of you after, right? You start replaying everything. You start questioning yourself. You start thinking, how did I not see that? Right? You start asking, why did I ignore this? I saw the signs. You say, why did I stay so long? Why did I give so many chances? And why did I betray myself trying to love someone else? And this is where the real wound often lives, because betrayal, it doesn't just damage trust in other people, it can damage trust in your own inner voice, your own discernment and intuition, right? Your own ability to make decisions that keep you safe. And again, this is why I was like, I have to do this, because there are so many people walking around that do not trust themselves, and they're expected to trust other people. We're in contract with other people, in connection with other people every day, all day long. And if you don't trust you can't trust others. And so you're navigating this plane unsafe. And that's why your nervous system dysregulated, all the things. And so let's get into it, right? It's like, let's sit down and address it. And this is not the only reason why your nervous system is dysregulated, but it could be one of the causes. But after betrayal happens, many people do one of two things. They either become hyper guarded and they shut everyone out, right? Or they become hyper vigilant and they overanalyze everything. Now, every text feels suspicious, right? Everything feels personal. Every shift in energy feels like danger. You overreading everything, right? Every new connection feels like a threat. You wonder who sent this person, who are they? Can I trust you? You get what I'm saying? And it makes it even harder. What makes all of this even harder is when you may not just be grieving the betrayal. It's okay to grieve things. I think sometimes we're just told to let things go, and okay, move on and get over it. But when you don't grieve it, it makes it more challenging. You must go through the process of grieving what you feel what you feel the need to grieve. You may be grieving the version of you that didn't know how to protect yourself. That part hurts, and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to grieve that. It's okay to process that. It hurts to realize that you were overriding your own feelings, that you ignored the red flags. I'm staring off into space because I'm thinking of so many times, my dog, where you have ignored the red flags. The signs were everywhere. You knew what it was, right? But we are We are back. Sorry about that. But yeah, where was I? So yeah, I was just talking about the red flags. So I think back to many experiences I've had where I ignored all the red flags. No judgment, right? I come at it with compassion for myself because again, I didn't know then what I know now. So yeah, the red flags. Also, another one is it hurts to realize, and I want to apologize for a brief moment. I had a couple of phone calls that kind of came in, so I had to pause, and so not sure kind of where it left off. So we just kind of picking back up. I know last I was talking about red flags and how I ignored some red flags and things that I went through. I don't remember if I went into detail about that experience, but it's okay. I'm going to continue to move forward. I don't want to, so that I'm not repetitive, right? But it can hurt too when you realize that you begin to shrink your own needs, right? You begin to shrink your needs, silence your boundaries, and you call it love, patience, being loyal, or understanding, right? But I need you to really let this sink in, okay? You cannot heal self trust by shaming yourself. You cannot. You cannot build trust with yourself by attacking yourself. And you cannot restore your inner safety by becoming your own enemy. And a lot of people think that healing means asking, how do I make sure that nobody hurts me again? But that's not the real question. The real question is, how do I become someone who will no longer abandon myself when something feels off? This is where the self trust begins, right? Because self trust isn't believing that you'll never be hurt again. That's unrealistic. Self trust is believing and knowing that you will listen sooner. You like, yeah, I ain't doing that no more, right? Self trust is you honoring what you feel. I know within me that's not it, so we out of here, right? Or you creating tougher boundaries or whatever call to action comes after that. But trusting, right? Self trust is also you stopping the excuses. No more excuses to validate what you experience when it violates your spirit. No more excuses, no more passes. You will tell yourself the truth and you will choose yourself even when that's hard, even if that means, and I know for some people like myself, sometimes that means we have to do it alone. We got to go at life alone for a minute, and that can be really hard, but it's so worth it. It is. It's so worth it. This is what makes self trust so powerful because it's not built on control, it's built on consistency. So, how do you know, right? How do you know how to build self trust after betrayal? How do you start that process? What does that look like? First, you have to stop punishing yourself. Please, let's forgive ourselves. Stop punishing yourself for what you didn't know then. Sometimes we don't know and you can't give what you don't have. And so that's okay. Give yourself grace, forgive yourself, and let's move forward, right? Because everything is a lesson. And in part one, I actually talked about how when you don't trust yourself, you setting yourself up for failure. There's no such thing really as failure. Everything is a lesson, right? We're learning lessons, right? So it's not failure. And so it's saying with this, everything is a lesson. You're learning, whether it's you learning what to do or you learn what not to do, right? So you were making decisions from the awareness you had at the time and from the wounds that you had, from the unmet needs that you had, and from the patterns that you learned along the way of your life. So Give yourself grace. You know, some of us were taught to doubt ourselves early. True. Some of us were taught to call our own intuition overreacting. And some of us were taught that having boundaries was selfish. So give yourself grace. Because some of us were also taught that love meant enduring pain. I know I want to speak on this, and let me know in the comments if this is something you're interested in. I want to do a video about, you know, a lot of women, especially, you think of our elders who endure so much pain in relationships. They stay, they abandon themselves just for the sake of keeping the family together, for staying in relationships that were abusive physically, financially, mentally, spiritually, religiously, whatever, right? I want to do a video on that because I think it's really important. And I shared a video on my Instagram about women who develop autoimmune diseases, and a lot of this stems from us abandoning ourselves. So I feel like a lot of it is interconnected. So let me know if that's something y'all interested in. I'll definitely, boop, pop one out, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of us were taught early on, right, to disconnect from our own bodies just to survive. So, no, you ain't tripping. You're not broken, right? You're not imagining this. Give yourself grace. It is a lot happening, and you're coming into the realization of it all. And so continue forward and know that you may have been conditioned to abandon yourself, and healing is the process of coming back home, right? That's beautiful and powerful. And secondly, you want to rebuild connection with your body, right? So your body often knows before your mind is ready to admit it, okay? So your body will whisper what your mouth is afraid to say. I think of experience where, and for a long time I felt really bad about this, but I had to sit through some things, and I talked to a couple people, and then they helped me to see the bigger picture. But my body was responding like, it was like, no. It was like a response, but a reaction and a response. Like it was all of the above. And I say reaction because reactions are usually fast, response are usually slow. There was a reaction, it was like, nah, but it was a response too, So there was a certain person, every time they would reach for me to like touch me, or it was like the Matrix, like, don't touch me. And it was my body felt the energy and all the things, and it was just like, don't do that, don't touch me, I don't want the transference, right? But my mind was like, that's rude, and here I am about to abandon myself, you know what I'm saying, putting myself in spaces and places and things where, my body was like, no baby, no, don't do it, okay? Your body knows, it knows what your mouth is afraid to say. So trust it, right? Your body will tighten, it'll sink, it'll ache, it will freeze, or it'll feel restless when something is not aligned. You ever think about, okay, I'm about to go visit so and so. And before you get there, even maybe right after, like, you leave the house or whatever, you might be pulling up. All of a sudden, you got a headache. The pit of your stomach is just, oh, you have a whole pain in the pit of your stomach. We got to start clocking it. The tea be being poured for us, and we will ignore it. Again, no judgment, just awareness, right? But many people after betrayal stop trusting their body because they have been living in survival mode for so long. So rebuilding that self-trust means slowing down long enough to ask, what am I feeling right now? And the first thing I want to say is that's going to take being intentional, like setting aside some time. I know a lot of us have busy lives. We're parents, we work in, we have businesses, and all the things, partners, whatever it may be. Taking intentional time, whether that's 5 to 10 minutes, 2 minutes, 60 seconds, whatever you can get, and doing these things regularly as often as you need to. But not only asking yourself, what am I feeling right now, but asking yourself, what is my body trying to tell me, right? Do I feel expanded or contracted? Mm, that's a good one. I was like, try to feel my body out right now. Do I feel expanded or contracted? You know what I'm saying? And asking yourself not how, but do I feel safe? Right? Do I feel safe, or do I feel like I have to perform, prove, or pretend? I think that one is really important too, because they're all really important. But I say that because as I'm thinking this out in my mind, I think about all the times I've had to, or I really chose to perform, right? To prove myself or to pretend. Ooh, the betrayal of myself. Like, it makes me think back, and, for a while I would cringe at the thought of how I would just abandon myself. Now, because I've worked through it and things of that nature, it doesn't hit the same, right? That's how you know when you're healing or have healed certain things, is it don't hit the same, right? And the more you begin to listen, the louder the inner wisdom becomes, right? Because if you keep ignoring me, why am I going to keep speaking? I'm not, right? But if you start to listen and you're following that guidance, it will speak clearer and louder, so that just you flowing, right? Period. The third thing is keep small promises to yourself. Excuse me. I mentioned this in the first video, and this matters more than people realize, because every time you tell yourself that you're going to do something and you don't follow through, your nervous system registers inconsistency. And the betrayal already creates instability. It already does that. So start small, very small, very small. I think about times when I'm like, oh, I'm going to do a 10-day juice fast. And I'll be like, day 2, day 3, I'll be like, ooh, a salad sounds really good. And sometimes it don't even be I want something really off the wall. It might just be solid food. And I would be like, no, but you said you were gonna. And I'm like, no, I'm about to eat that salad. Girl, do the 10 days. But then I also know that sometimes you have to honor your body and know that maybe your body needs more fuel. So, you have to just use your own discernment with that, right? And know what you're feeling is what you're feeling and what you're being called to do. If you say you're gonna rest, then rest, and don't guilt yourself through it. We do that sometimes. We're like, oh, I need to rest, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna let rest. You lay down, and then you're like, oh, but I should probably be washing dishes. Oh wait, I gotta cook dinner. Oh wait, I gotta pick. What time is it? Then you start reverse engineering why you need to get up. Don't do it. Don't do it. Rest. If you say you're gonna journal, go ahead and journal. And don't think of it like I have to sit down and journal out this whole dissertation. It may literally just be 2 lines. Today, I'm feeling really powerful. I'm so proud of myself. That may not be 2 lines, but it doesn't have to be overly complicated. Start small, start where you're at. And the more you do it, the more you show up for yourself, you'll notice that it just starts to flow and it comes natural, right? So if you say something like, you're not answering any late night texts, then don't answer it. That's just what it is. I know for me, my phone has been on D&D for I don't know how long, a year probably. I love it here, okay? And the reason why I love it here too is because I can control who has access to me. Like, baby, what? Once my son told me, because at first I was like, this can't be that good. I have to turn it on and off because like certain people trying to reach me, they can't. And then my son taught me that you can you can like select certain people to bypass the D&D. So of course, there's certain people that whether I'm on D&D or not, I'm gonna get their phone calls. I'm gonna get the notifications of text or whatever, right? But I love it. I ain't gonna hold you. Anyways, um, but yeah, the late night texts or calls, that's something as I'm sitting here thinking about, that's something that I need to really honor for myself, because it's a trauma response. Like I would always feel like if somebody call you in the middle of the night, there has to be something wrong. Like, why are you calling me at 2 o'clock in the morning? Like, why? Unless there's an emergency. So I felt the need to answer, because then It's like, if I don't answer, what happens if, and y'all don't judge me, okay? What happens if I probably watch too much TV? What happens if I don't answer and then something happened, like they were being chased by a bear in the woods? No, that's super far fetched. I'm just being funny, but something happened and they were trying to call me and I didn't answer. I think of stuff like that. So I'm like, well, I have to answer, but it's like, girl, most of the time, I probably say about 99% of the time, it's not an emergency. People just up and either, want to talk, need to talk, and sometimes it don't even really like be an I need to talk about something important right now. It's just like, what you doing? I'm asleep now. What are you doing up right now? It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. There are times when people do need you, and so I get that too. But um, yeah, if you're gonna do that, honor that. It's okay, right? If you say you need space, take space. Girl, I'm big on space. I need space. I need time. I need a minute. Okay, whoever that applies to, let me know. Nah, but seriously, space is very important for me. It's a big one. I ain't gonna hold you. I think back to during the pandemic when we had the rules like 6 feet, everyone stay 6 feet apart. Like, why don't people honor that anymore? Like, people was scared shitless. Okay, like I think back, I'm like, people one day got on the news and told you, and one day walked into a store and they told you, oh, you have to wear a mask, you have to stay 6 feet apart, and y'all were scared as fuck. You know what I'm saying? You were terrified and you kept space. It was like, oh, and then it just went away. Like, now all of a sudden, y'all not scared to stand close no more. And it's not, for me, it's not about fear. For me, it's about, you have something called an auric field, your energy field, right? And I'm very sensitive to that. Like, back up. Like, why are you so close? Like, even people I know, I don't like everybody standing that close to me. It's only certain people and certain energies, but especially if I don't know you. Like, I love the 6 feet thing. Like, we really should implement that. It should really be a thing. Like, spread out. We are not together. Okay. I'm gonna come back to this space. Okay, so anyways, yeah, self trust though is built, one promise at a time, one kept promise at a time, right? So keep those promises to yourself. Fourth, I want us to tell the truth about what happened. Tell the truth, shame the devil. That's what I heard. But not the softened version, right? Not the version that protects everyone else, not the version that minimizes your pain, but the truth. Sometimes we'll be like, well, I don't know because I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings or I don't want to put their business out. But baby, you was there too. It's not just their business, it's y'all business. Like, you know what I'm saying? Tell the truth. Be honest about what you're feeling, what happened, right? The truth about what you tolerated, the truth about what you felt, right? The truth about you and what you knew but you suppressed. The truth about places where you abandon yourself to maintain connection. Ooh, yeah, yeah. This is not about blaming yourself, right? This is about becoming honest enough to free yourself, because you cannot heal what you won't reveal, and you cannot heal when you keep romanticizing what happened. You cannot rebuild self trust while you keep lying to yourself about what something cost you. A lot of times, a lot of this stuff costs us our peace, our joy, right? Our protection. Okay. It's costing way more to keep it than it is to let it go. Right. And the fifth thing I want us to do is to practice honoring one boundary consistently. One, not 10, not 20, just one. So ask yourself, what boundary are you setting that you are going to start to hold and honor, right? Maybe your boundary is, I do not explain my why. I don't explain my no more than once or at all. Okay. Maybe it is I do not stay in conversations that become disrespectful. Maybe it's I do not keep rescuing people who refuse to be accountable. Maybe it's I do not ignore my exhaustion to be available for everyone else. And all of these resonate with me. And I don't, if it resonates with you, take what resonates, leave what does not. But this is real. We have to design our life the way we want it to look. We have to come to a place where we are comfortable in the life that we live, and not about appeasing others, but what is it that we want? Because I know I'm so proud of myself. I had a conversation with an older cousin I was talking to, and she was getting disrespectful, and I was like, at first I was like, do I speak on it or do I just continue? And I was like, girl, you better open your mouth. My higher self was like, great, let's speak up. And so I was like, look, I will not allow you to talk to me like that. So if you continue that, I will hang up. And it was like, oh, I'm no. This, like, I said what I said. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, that felt really good. My intentions weren't to be disrespectful. My intentions were to demand and command respect. Like, and if you don't hold that boundary, you don't respect and honor that, then we're not going to have a conversation. And I'm okay with that. So you need to ask yourself, are you going to be okay with that? Right? Refusing people who refuse accountability, a lot of times we want to keep saving them, we want to keep rescuing them, and we find ourselves becoming exhausted because we're going above and beyond to rescue people who really they know they have no intentions on being accountable, but they know you're going to always come get them, you're going to always show up, you're going to always say yes, even if it's at to your own detriment. So yeah, we're not doing it no more. Okay. You ever know you're tired, know you are exhausted, okay, and you still show up for somebody else because they need you, baby, you need you too. So yeah, no, let's hold on to these boundaries, create one for yourself, whatever that one is that you're going to hold, the one, and think about it. Take your time and really think about what is one boundary that I need in this moment to uphold, right? And then create that one. Okay. Boundaries teach your inner self, I will protect you. Okay? I will protect you now. And every time you honor a boundary, that trust it deepens, right? The sixth thing that I want you to do is forgive yourself for surviving the best way you knew how. Forgive yourself for all of those things because some versions of you stayed because they were scared. Some stayed because you were hopeful. Some stayed in the chaos because it felt familiar. And some versions of you stay because being chosen mattered more than being safe. And some versions of you stay because you had not yet learned that peace is love. You don't need to hate that version of yourself, right? You need to accept that version. You need to have compassion for that version of you. She got you here. And now you are a wiser version of you that gets to lead. So that is healing. And that right there is beautiful. And finally, I want you to understand this, that self trust is not perfection. Clock it. Self trust doesn't mean that you will never miss a sign again, because you probably will. It's okay. It does not mean that you will never make another mistake, that you will never love the wrong person or stay too long or need to learn another lesson. It doesn't mean that, because this is life. Things do happen, right? But the thing is awareness. We just pick up things a little bit faster and quicker, right? Self-trust means that even if you experience any of those things, you will not disappear from yourself in the process. You will not gaslight yourself. You will not silence yourself. that you will not keep pushing and keep choosing discomfort just because it's familiar, that you will not abandon yourself trying to be loved. This is the shift. This is where you stop asking, how do I make sure that nobody ever betrays me again? And you start saying, no matter what happens, I trust myself enough to respond with truth, courage, and care. That is freedom. That is healing. And that is restoration. And because the goal is not to become hard, right? The truth is not to become cold. And this is heavy work sometimes, because as we go through life and we go through these experiences, it can really turn your heart cold. It can turn your heart hard and make you shut people out. And you don't want that, right? The goal is not to become so guarded that nobody can reach you. The goal is to become rooted, grounded, discerned, and available to love, but no longer available for self betrayal, right? So if you're healing from betrayal, let this be your reminder that you are not starting over. You are just returning home to yourself. You are on this process and this journey of becoming more aware. And the more you listen to yourself, the more you honor yourself, the more you protect yourself, and the more you tell yourself the truth. Because sometimes we lie to others. Don't lie to yourself, baby. Okay. The more you do these things, the more unshakable your self trust becomes. And once you truly trust yourself, you stop begging to feel safe. You stop begging to be seen. You stop begging for anything. You don't need to beg for more, ask for anything, because you become a safe place for you. And that's on period. So this was part 2. Tap it in the comments. Let me know if this resonated with you, what part hits the most. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you are not subscribed already, if you're not following us already, please do on all social media platforms. Okay. This one was good. It hit. It hit. Let me know if it hit for you. And let me know in the comments if there are any other topics that you are like, oh, girl, you got to talk about this. Because I definitely will. For real, for real. So many things are happening in this world, in this time as of right now. And it's so very important to be able to trust yourself. Keep traveling home to yourself. You got this. You are powerful beyond measure, baby. And know that nobody can do you like you. Till the next time.